Notre Dame 31, Louisville 24 today, and well, I told you so. This was one of those where you just weren't able to get comfortable in your seat until the very end, but the Irish prevail in a big one today at Notre Dame Stadium. For Fighting Irish Preview and fightingirishpreview.com, I'm Phil Houck, and That's a Wrap, brought to you by Notre Dame Federal Credit Union. The first half was kind of a turnover fest. It started off by Notre Dame fumbling the kickoff right away, so they're under tremendous stress to start the football game. 6-yard line is where Louisville was able to start their first drive. They scored 3 plays later, and all of a sudden, the worst that could possibly happen to start a football game happened, and Notre Dame's behind 7-0 early on. But Notre Dame, when I say it was a turnover fest, Notre Dame took advantage of a couple of fumbles by Louisville after that, and Notre Dame came right back. They scored 3 touchdowns in the first half. Riley Leonard really played his best football of the season, I thought, in the first quarter. And Notre Dame looks like they're got everything going. They're up 21-7 at the end of the first quarter, and then things got really kind of interesting. Louisville managed a TD in the second quarter, so we go to 21-10, and all Notre Dame could do was a 48-yard field goal by Derek Jeter in the second quarter, and that was the start of a long scoring drought, as we'll hear, for the Irish. Score at half 24-14. The Irish have to kick off in the second half. The defenses, though, and the punters really dueled and dialed in, I thought, in the third quarter. No points were scored in the third quarter, and there was no scoring at all until the 11-minute mark of the fourth, when Louisville kicks a 56-yard field goal. That was quite a shot, and the score goes to 24-17. 11 minutes to go in the game. It's a one-score game. Notre Dame's offense isn't doing anything at this point, so lots of stress being felt in the stadium today. But then that seemed to kind of trigger the Irish offense, because Notre Dame came back with its first score of the second half after a nice drive by the Irish down the field. And at the 9-minute mark, on a beautiful 32-yard throwback screen pass that Riley Leonard was able to perfectly dial in and throw to Jeremiah Love, he scampered into the end zone, and the Irish now go up 31-17. Post game, Riley Leonard said he just knew that play was gonna work, because it was the perfect call at the perfect time, and I think it was Marcus Freeman that had said that, yeah, that was something they had practiced all week. Excellent execution on that throwback screen. But well, it's not over, even though it's 31-17 at this time. It's because Louisville came right back then, and at the 5-minute mark, Tyler Shuck, who had a tremendous day, the quarterback for Louisville, it was his 25th birthday today, by the way, he threw his third TD pass of the day, and we're right back into that one-score game, 31-17, plenty of time left, and Notre Dame's just got nothing left at the tank at that time. 5 minutes to go. They could only burn a couple of minutes off the clock on a 3-and-out. James Rendell punts the ball. It's not a great punt, and Louisville takes over at their own 45, but they're unable to convert. The Irish manage to shut them down, and then Riley Leonard ends the game with a couple of kneel downs, and the Irish finish this one off with the victory. Some key stats here today. The Cardinals outgained the Irish significantly in this game. Total yards 395 to 280. And Tyler Shuck, I thought, just played a tremendous game. As we said, on his 25th birthday, he got some nice gifts, but he didn't get the ultimate prize here today. He ended the day 24 of 41, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did throw the 1 interception. Riley Leonard's numbers looked like he was just going to have a terrific day, and then things just really tailed off. He actually went out for a play early, or I think it was in the second quarter, where he got banged up a little bit. Steve Angeli had to come in for one play. Post-game, Riley Leonard talked about that. He said that he got the wind knocked out of him, and if you saw the game, he went down to the ground, and it looks like the play was over, and then a 305-pound defensive lineman landed on his back, and it just knocked the wind out of him. But Riley Leonard was effective at first and not effective so much in the second half. 17 of 23 passing, fairly accurate, but not a lot of deep balls today. Just 163 yards passing. They did throw the 2 touchdowns. And he also added 52 yards on 13 carries, rushing, and a touchdown on the ground, another touchdown. So I think he goes to 7 on the year, scored running touchdowns in. But the only number that really matters, right, it's the scoreboard. And this was a revenge game, a rivalry game. You could see the players. I mean, everything was cranked up a little bit down there, and little scuffles breaking out here and there. And yeah, I think this could develop into a rivalry if you think about it. South Bend on the north side of the state and Louisville just over the border on the south side of the state. We're not very far separated. And Jeff Romsen could coach. Louisville is going to be good for a long time as long as he's there, I'm sure of that. But anyway, the final today, Notre Dame 31, Louisville 24. Notre Dame, or I should say Notre Dame goes to 4-1. They're idle next week, and they need that time off. Several injuries today, guys banged up. Boubacar Traore, I'm concerned about him. We will see what his story is. I'm optimistic, but I don't have anything firm on his condition. But he was on the sideline with a wrap around his knee for the second half of the game, and I think he went out in the second quarter from that time forward. And he's a star. They need Boubacar Traore at full strength. But so they need the idle week to get comfortable and to get Riley Leonard, when he asked what he was going to do for the bye week, he said, well, I'm going to play some golf and hopefully catch some bass. But he said, I'm just going to do that tomorrow because we got to go back to work on Monday. Everybody agreeing that this is still an Irish team that's in development, but the key thing is to get in the victory today and to go to 4-1. The game was exciting and as close as it was billed. For Fighting Irish Preview and fightingirishpreview.com, that's a Notre Dame Federal Credit Union wrap.